Good morning. Welcome back to Midlife Mayhem, the podcast all about midlife and the beautiful chaos it brings. I'm Kim Branham, RMBSN and owner of Thin Space Wellness. Welcome back. This is episode number 10. I cannot believe this has been 10 episodes of this podcast. So thank you to those of you who have hung with me and checked out some of the episodes. As you're noticing, Stephen is not here with me this morning. I'm realizing that life happens, and I definitely am excited about interviewing him. Our lives have been just kind of a little bit crazy the past couple weeks between being in Colorado 2 weeks a month, North Carolina the other 2 weeks, and then I had a conference in Atlanta, Georgia the past 2 days, which was absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to tell you about it. So I had a 4-hour drive home last night and decided that I would go ahead and record the podcast without Stephen and take a little detour from the divorce train, which I'm sure everybody can use a break from. So today what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to fill you in about my conference a little bit because it is very, very close to my heart. And to me, it's a very important part of midlife. It's a very important part of wellness, emotional stability, mental stability. So I want to share with you a little bit about that, and then I want to apply it to midlife and how it really connects to all of us midlife, especially mamas, because I can't speak for the guys. But so the conference I went to was put on by Allergan Medical Institute, they're the makers of Botox, Juvederm, dermal filler products, Skin Vive, which is a internal hydrator that's injected into the face. It's amazing. But this conference was on the MD codes. And if you've not heard of the MD codes before, it was created by Dr. DeMaio, who is a brilliant doctor. He started in plastic surgery and he created the MD codes 10 years ago. So it is just now being brought into the United States by Allergan. And I've had 2 hands-on trainings on the MD codes and then got to go hear Dr. DeMaio talk for 2 full days. Priceless. He's brilliant. And I got a signed book. It's signed by him, the whole atlas of MD codes. I'm so excited. So my patients know facial aesthetics I'm very passionate about. We have a lot of weight loss patients. We have a lot of hormone replacement patients. And a lot of those patients end up landing in the aesthetics chair with me because, let me back up. Some people may feel like aesthetics are vain. And I've heard from a ton of people that are now my aesthetic patients. I want to age gracefully. I want to age naturally. I don't want to do anything that looks artificial. The issue is that there's such a lack of education about facial aesthetics. I personally believe that aesthetics is a form of self-care. It is really the thing that kind of connects people to, there's this disconnect between the way they feel like they look and the way that they feel inside, if that makes sense. And that's part of midlife, right? So our bodies feel out of control, our minds feel out of control, our lives feel out of control. But I love that Dr. DeMaio talked about the artistry of injection and how anybody, can play piano and be proficient at piano, right? And he compared it to music constantly. I loved it because I'm a former professional musician, if you didn't know that. But he was talking about how anybody can become proficient at the piano, but to become a master of the piano, it takes practice and it takes dedication and it takes laser focus on your craft. So the MD codes is the gift that gives this to people, to injectors. It is a scientific, very strategic, very specific method to injection that's combined with artistry to give extremely natural, extremely safe, extremely long-lasting results for people. I wish I could just regurgitate everything that he said in this 2-day conference. Okay, so facial aesthetics. He compared that to music, and when I was driving home last night, I really started thinking about how there's this disconnect, this dissonance, if you will. And if you're a musician, if you know anything about music, dissonance in music is when 2 notes or chords kind of clash together. They feel like, ooh, woo, they feel like this tension. And then the hope is they resolve, right? In most songs, they resolve. And they have like the happy chord. So I've started thinking about how much midlife feels like that, where it feels like there's this constant dissonance, this like tension, but it won't resolve. It won't resolve. And we are the only people that have the ability, you, I, for ourselves, we're the only people that have the ability to resolve the dissonance. So, the aesthetics training started my brain thinking about that, but then I really was like thinking about it just across midlife in general. Like, how many people have I talked to, do I work with, who feel stuck? Dissonance. Who feel like they look tired? Dissonance. Who feel like they look saggy? Dissonance. It's just this imbalance of like your insides not matching your outsides. And I don't consider that vanity. I consider that, okay, how do we connect the pieces? How do we resolve the dissonance? So there are lots of ways to attack that. And I challenge you to think about, I'm going to talk a little bit more about facial aesthetics today and what I learned at the conference, because I think that education piece again is super important. But I challenge you to think about, what are the dissonances in your life? What is the disconnect in your life where you've got these tensions where your insides don't meet the outsides? It doesn't match. And what is being portrayed to other people? And not that it's about what other people think, but if you're, like Dr. DeMaio talked about, like it's making your emotional feeling match what you're portraying to people. So he showed us some pictures of some patients he had that, there was a gentleman that was a lawyer, and it's like, okay, does he look trustworthy? And his facial features and the deflation he had in his face and his aging process, I can't say that he looked trustworthy. And again, not that the appearance is everything, but he went to Dr. DeMaio for a reason. So if he's feeling that disconnect and it's not matching outwardly to society, then there's a reason to address it. So one of the number one complaints that I hear from patients is that they aren't happy in their own skin. They don't feel comfortable in their own skin. Dissonance. They feel like they look saggy. They feel like they look tired. They feel like they look angry. They have this permanent angry face. They're not fitting into their clothes the way that they want to. They're insecure in a bathing suit, so they're constantly wearing cover-ups instead of feeling confident to just wear a bathing suit like anybody else that's on the beach. So I really challenge you to think about those dissonances in your own life. And how comfortable are you? Are you feeling stuck? Are you feeling like everything's spinning out of control and you don't know which way's up? Do you feel like you should look younger and more refreshed than you do? Do you feel like you're at a weight that you're not happy with and that you feel like you can't do anything about it, which you can? All of these things you can have help with. If you go around your house and look at pictures, how many pictures do you have of yourself? Because I can tell you there have been several times in my life where I would not get in a picture. I would not let my husband take pictures of me. I was the photographer. Let me get pictures of my kids and my family, but you don't see me in a lot of pictures. And that was in that time when I was about 45 pounds overweight and did just dissonance. Didn't feel good. Didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. So if you go around your house, check that out. How many pictures are you actually in? And the second part of that is, when you look at yourself in pictures, what do you see? Like, do you see something that matches the way that you feel on the inside? Do you see something that you're happy with? Because I can tell you that, like, even if I look at former pictures of myself and I don't feel like it matches the way that I feel on the inside, sometimes it does. Like, sometimes there was a time when my eyes were sunken in and I had like dark circles, and it was before facial aesthetics. But to look at those before and after pictures, I felt the way that that picture looked, but that's not what I wanted. I wasn't happy. I was not happy. So there's a lot of connections there that you can think about with the inside and the outside of your body, how you're feeling versus how you look. and how you're feeling versus how you want to feel. Because you can make those changes. It's like the piano player. You can practice and have precision with your focus to change your life. You can do that in any aspect. It's not just the way you look, it's the way that you feel inside. So they're connected. Does that make sense? Okay, I'll get off that soapbox, sorry. So really challenge you to take a look at that and just think about the things, especially now. It's the end of October. The holidays are coming up. So I've been processing through how to put this out there on social media and, to my patients and check in and make sure that people realize that, like, right now, people typically, what I've noticed is that people typically are like, oh, I'll wait till January 1st. I'll start New Year's Day. Or I'll wait until after the holidays. It's going to be too hard to work on myself now. It's too busy. And again, here's some challenges. I challenge you to challenge that belief. You can start now on your wellness. You can start now, and it's not going to be a pain in your rear to do that because you'll have help and support, whether it's me, whether it's another practice that's like us. I don't know what state you're in. We help patients in person and virtually in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Colorado right now, currently. We will be expanding. But if you're not in our states, reach out and I'll help you find somebody that's similar to what we do. I'm happy to. It is so important to have support in your journey. So whether it's weight loss, whether it's wellness, whether it's just feeling stuck and needing help, just getting out of being stuck. Hormones, my goodness, I cannot tell you how many women I talk to, not even just my patients, but friends and family members that I'm like, okay, come and let us just check your hormone panel. Let us just look and just see what's out of whack and tell you what we would do. And if you don't do anything with it, that's on you. You can make that decision. But when people's hormones are out of balance and they feel crazy, you don't have to live like that. You don't have to. And there are things you can do, and it doesn't have to be with us, and it doesn't have to be what we suggest, but get a control of your health and do it now before you get into the holidays. I tell people this all the time when they want to lose weight and they're like, oh, wait, I'll wait till January. I get it because I've been there for years. For years I was there. You can start now and you could be 10 pounds lighter going into the holidays without struggling through it, without white knuckling and be like, oh my gosh, I want that pumpkin pie. You can do those things, and it's hard for people to believe until they're actually there and feeling it. But you have the ability to take control and to do it now so that when you get to January, instead of being 10 pounds heavier, you're feeling in control going into the new year. Because as most of you know, when you make a lifestyle change, it doesn't feel easy. But it can feel easy if you have the proper support. And if you have the proper medications. Sometimes it takes medications, whether it's GLP-1s. We now have the GLP-1s available as pills, oral pills you can take. So for people who don't like taking injections, giving themselves injections, it's an option. There are other options. So anyway, I feel like I'm on a big soapbox today. Sorry. I'm not trying to sound like I'm lecturing everyone. Okay, so let's get back to going into the holidays. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, I slept till 7:30 this morning. I'm in North Carolina this week, but I slept until 7:30, so it's not 3 in the morning. Actually slept like a rock. And my children are sleeping still. So I had to put a note on the door for my 11-year-old that I'll share a picture of that on social media. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so I'm hidden away. Not in the wee morning hours, which I'm very happy about. Okay, so back to facial aesthetics, back to the MD codes. So again, the MD codes, the entire philosophy is about strategy and about having just a regimented way to inject and combining that with my own artistry to give patients, there's no plumping and fluffing anymore. There is rejuvenation. And so, like Dr. DeMaio said, this entire philosophy is about, it's an alternative to surgery for some people. And with very little downtime, if any at all. Like most people will leave my injection space and no one would know exactly what they did. They would be able to notice and be like, wow, she looks amazing, but they would never be able to pinpoint, oh, you had this done. Oh, you had this done. It's a very natural approach. And it's using the dermal fillers as a tool to very strategically place it where it needs to be to rejuvenate the face. So, again, talking about the holidays, now is the time to start planning for your treatments. So, if you're planning now, Botox takes 2 weeks to kick in, right? And Botox is going to address mainly the upper part of the face. It can be used in the lower part of the face. Most people use it in the top part of the face. So it's injected in the crow's feet, into the glabella area, which is the 11s, and then the forehead. And so what that does, there are a lot of misconceptions about Botox. Botox is like the easiest treatment for you to come in and get. It takes no time at all. It's super simple. Takes 2 weeks to kick in, and it's magic. It doesn't freeze you. That's the big misconception that people have is that Botox will freeze you and make you look frozen. When it's injected by skilled hands, it does not. So Botox is placed in a very specific way, and it relaxes your eyes. It relaxes the circular muscle around your eyes so that you get a nice natural arch to your eyebrows. You look rested, you look refreshed. It literally is just magic. And no one will know what you did. No one will know what you did. You'll show up to Thanksgiving and you'll just look nice and refreshed and relaxed. And when you look that way and people respond to you differently because you don't look tired and you don't look angry and you don't have like this heaviness in your eyebrow, you look nice and open and refreshed. It's very welcoming and inviting to people. And I've noticed a difference, especially when I was a middle and high school teacher. I could tell a difference when I had Botox and when I didn't, because I could definitely give my angry scowl look. Just like if I was thinking, I need Botox now, so it's not a good time for me to demonstrate that. But anyway, so Botox is a super easy solution to just soften the face, to open the eyes, to take the heaviness away. If you have like heavy eyelids, heavy brows, it just opens everything up. That's the first step. So the second step, and again, Botox, 2 weeks to kick in. We're now what, 4 weeks to Thanksgiving? Botox typically lasts about 4 months. So if you get Botox now, it'll get you all the way through January. So you get it now, you look rested and refreshed all the way through the holidays. All the pictures, all the parties, it's magic. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is the dermal fillers. So dermal fillers have a really bad rap for some people. There is so much stuff on social media. How do you know what to listen to? I will say stop listening to the negative and start looking for educated people who are talking about dermal fillers. And it's hard to determine that. But if you're looking for a professional that has credentials, that have been trained, or come see someone like me, go see a practice that is reputable. Ask about their training. Have they had hands-on training? How much training have they had? How long have they been injecting? I mean, there's so many questions that you can ask, but that's where you want to get your information from, not from somebody that's overinflated and has like some body disorder, anyway. Like some people like lips that are out to here. Steven and I don't produce that at our practice. Everything that we do is very natural. And if people come to us and want something like that, anything overinflated, we send them to someone else, because that's not what we do. And it's not what we want to represent to our patients, what we do. So dermal filler strategically placed, it takes about a month. There's not really any downtime, but it takes about a month before you completely feel like the product is your own. It integrates with your tissues. And so when you first are injected, it takes a couple days. You may be a little swollen, especially the morning after you're injected. People, when you lay close to flat, we always suggest they sleep with an extra pillow under their head. But inevitably, when you wake up in the morning, you feel swollen. So it takes your body a couple days for everything to settle in, but there's no hiding, there's no downtime. No one else would notice. You just feel it, if that makes sense. So I truly suggest that people get their dermal fillers about a month out from holidays. So right now is the perfect time. Right now is the perfect time. When we do the full facial rejuvenation using the MD codes, it typically will last about 2 to 3 years. So different parts wear off quicker, like if you have your lips are touched with filler just to give a more natural, hydrated appearance. That typically will last about a year, maybe to a year and a half, because you use those muscles around your mouth so much. But the rest of the face, the jawline, the cheeks, the places that we place filler to lift and rejuvenate the face, it's long lasting. And then typically you just have to have top offs every now and then. It's like filling the gas tank, not filling, but just replenishing the gas tank and then topping it off every now and then. So if you look in the mirror, if this is something that bothers you, like I highly suggest you do this. But we start off when we're young and youthful, those days, and we have like this upward facing triangle, right? So we've got these beautiful cheeks and then a very slim face. So it's just this beautiful triangle shape. And as we age, the triangle shifts and goes like this. So we start getting this heaviness here. Your cheeks start pulling down. You start getting bags under your eyes, or just you look depleted under here with dark circles. You can get kind of gaunt for people who exercise a lot. Like you can get very gaunt in here. So you get these lines in here, the nasolabial folds, like everything just kind of like gets heavy at the bottom. So our goal is not to give you artificial looking cheeks, right? Our goal is to go in and reinforce the structures that you've lost, the fat pads that you've lost over time, the collagen that's depleted over time, so that we take this downward triangle and we rebuild the structure to give you what you naturally had. So we start in the mid face, and what I encourage you to do, and I've tried this several times since yesterday when we talked about it at the training, but if you take 2 fingers and you put one on your cheekbone, and then you put one kind of in that little indentation place where your teeth are, and you pull back, you can see a change in your jawline. You can see a change in your eye, your under eye area, your nasolabial folds. So when you start in the mid face, which is what we do, and you inject strategically, it lifts and tacks back, provides structure again for your skin. That scaffolding is rebuilt so that it impacts the entire lower part of your face, your neck. Some of the before and after pictures, and if you'd like to see ours, please reach out to me and I'll send them to you. You can see people that come in and they complain about their neck sagging, or they have these jowls that they hate dealing with, or a double chin. It all starts in the mid face with rebuilding that structure that's been lost. So I hope that kind of helps explain how dermal filler is used, especially with the MD codes. We start in the mid face, we rebuild structure, then we reassess. And we may not go farther than that, depending on your needs and what your goals are. But a lot of people, that is a phenomenal treatment that is not going to be as expensive as a facelift. I've treated people in their 30s with a similar technique, and it changes their entire appearance. They may look like they're older. They may have a double chin or pre-jowling already in their 30s. And you can use the same technique, and it does not take a lot of product. So, I think the misconception too is that that you're going to come in and end up spending gazillion dollars because you're going to have so much product. But when the product is placed in the proper places per the MD codes, thank you, Dr. DeMaio. When the product is placed properly, it can make all the difference, and you don't need as much as maybe an unskilled injector would use. So when it's not placed properly, it's not going to support the structures the way it's supposed to. Gosh, I could talk about this stuff all day, but I won't. So I'm going to wind down with that and just reemphasize to you that I challenge you to really assess what are your dissonances between your insides and your outsides, and what would make that match the insides, what would resolve the dissonance between the insides and the outsides. It really is just a matter of just taking charge and making a decision to make a change. So whether it's doing it on your own, which is completely fine. I've done things on my own throughout my life and not had like a wellness coach, but if you have resources and you need them. Utilize your resources. I tell my kids that all the time. I'm here. It's thinspacewellness.com. We have a brand new website. I'm so excited about it. So I'll be adding lots of, like, switching out lots of pictures and really customizing it with some of our own stuff over the next few weeks. And again, if you'd like to see some of our before and after pictures of the things we've talked about, even Botox, please reach out. My email is kim@thinspacewellness.com. And I'm more than happy to help you if you're not in those 3 states, North Carolina, South Carolina, Colorado, and you're interested in having some wellness support. Reach out and I can put you in touch with someone that I'm one of my colleagues in a different state that would be able to help. So, yeah, I'm just so passionate about helping people with living their most well life. Totally doesn't sound right, but but living to your ultimate level of wellness. And because I've been in that stuck place, I've been there. I've been overweight. My hormones have been imbalanced. I've had, facial features that I hid from cameras because I was so like, I did not like the way I looked. And it probably, to be honest with you, is part of the reason I still obsessively wear eye masks because my eyes, I looked tired. I looked sad. I just, I looked heavy and I was. I was heavy, literally overweight, but I was heavy emotionally. I'd gone through miscarriage. I didn't know which way was up, this midlife like transition. I felt heavy. And when I made some changes and on the outside got unheavy, my inside started to match. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of reflection. It's not just like a simple fix like, oh, go get Botox and everything will be better. But it's a start. Doing something for yourself that makes you feel more awake, more happy. It makes a difference. So if you have any questions, please reach out, let me know. I promise I will have Stephen on this podcast. This week, I think, slows down maybe a little bit for us. Maybe this weekend we can sit down and have a conversation about some of the divorce, remarriage, blended families. So we'll see. But I hope you'll join us again next week for episode number 11. That's insane to me. How has it been that many weeks already? Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging with me through the Midlife Mayhem podcast. We've got some great interviews coming up with some of my friends and patients in the very near future, so those will be great. If you have topics that you'd like to hear about, please let me know. I'm always open. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please let me know. And as always, please pass this along. If there's anybody that you know of that needs to hear this, please share. Please follow us on YouTube. All of it helps just get that message out there to other people so that if there's anybody that it would help, there it is. All right, have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.